Toto and Max have been spotted together as contact talks resume. Hamilton is under pressure after Ferrari's new reveal, and Red Bull is preparing changes for its second team. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Imagine this. You're on holiday, enjoying the sunshine, then overnight, the entire Formula One world thinks you're plotting a secret team switch. That's exactly what happened to Max Verstappen and Toto Wolff on their recent getaway to Sardinia. Today, we're diving into what really happened on that Mediterranean island and why this story is more about coincidence than conspiracy. It's mid-July 2025. Formula One has just gone through a dramatic week after Red Bull's team principal Christian Horner was unexpectedly dismissed. Rumors are everywhere, tensions are high, and suddenly both Max Verstappen and Mercedes boss Toto Wolff are spotted in Sardinia at the same time. Yachts, private jets, paparazzi shots, this has all the ingredients of F1 drama. The speculation was instant. Could Verstappen be meeting Wolff to arrange a move to Mercedes? Photos began circulating online, showing the two in what looked like close proximity. Fans and pundits ran with it. But was there any truth to it? Or was this just another case of F1 gossip spinning out of control? First, let's look at the facts. Verstappen is locked into a Red Bull contract until 2028. Earlier in the year, there was talk about an exit clause if he fell outside the top 3 in the championship mid-season. But that clause is now closed. He's committed to Red Bull until at least the end of 2026. Mercedes, on the other hand, hasn't confirmed its driver lineup beyond this year, but all signs point to keeping George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. So what caused the frenzy? Tracking data showed both Verstappen's and Wolff's yachts anchored near Sardinia at the same time. That was enough for online sleuths to imagine private meetings and backroom deals. Former F1 driver Ralf Schumacher even joked that there was a good chance they had coffee together. From there, the internet did the rest, turning a coincidence into a full-blown conspiracy. Then came the denials. Toto Wolff told Austrian media that it was nothing more than chance. Just because two people are on holiday in the same place doesn't mean they're negotiating contracts. Verstappen laughed it off as well, saying he was busy swimming in the ocean and spending time with friends and family. He reminded everyone that Sardinia isn't a small island. There are a lot more people there than just him and Toto. But not everyone was convinced. One outlet reported that the photos were genuine and that Verstappen and Wolff really did meet, though purely for friendly reasons. Another suggested it was plausible they bumped into each other, given their personal relationship and similar holiday schedules. Still, there was no solid evidence of contract talks. So why did this rumor explode the way it did? The answer is human psychology. We're drawn to stories about power, drama, and betrayal. Our brains are wired to look for patterns, even when none exist. In F1, where every move can be strategic, a holiday meeting between a team boss and a star driver is irresistible fuel for speculation. The truth, however, is far less dramatic. Verstappen has reaffirmed his commitment to Red Bull for 2026. Red Bull sources say they never doubted his loyalty. Wolff has admitted that while conversations about the future have happened in the past, nothing definitive has been discussed. Mercedes, for now, is focused on the drivers it already has. So what can we learn from all this? Formula One thrives on narrative. Rumors, rivalries, and off-track drama keep fans engaged even when there's no racing. But sometimes the story gets ahead of reality. The Sardinia saga is a perfect example of how quickly coincidence can turn into a conspiracy in the F1 world. There are 3 key reasons this rumor stuck in people's minds. First, ambiguity. The driver market wasn't fully settled, so the unknown created a vacuum that rumors rushed to fill. Second, authority. When a respected former driver hints at something, it feels more credible, even if it's just speculation. And third, emotional stakes. Fans care deeply about their heroes switching sides, and the idea of Verstappen in a Mercedes was too powerful to ignore. By leaving the story open-ended and allowing both denials and hints to circulate, interest stayed high. It was the perfect storm of curiosity and drama. Here's the reality. Verstappen and Wolff were in Sardinia at the same time. People saw it, and rumors flew. Both said it was nothing. A couple of sources suggested they met socially but not professionally. Verstappen is staying with Red Bull for 2026, and Mercedes is sticking with its likely lineup. That's the truth. Everything else is noise. So, was this just a coincidence? A calculated PR stunt? Or maybe a friendly chat with more meaning than they're letting on? Whatever the case, it shows how quickly a simple holiday can become front-page news in Formula One, and it proves that in F1, the drama doesn't stop when the cars aren't racing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit subscribe for more F1 stories, rumors, and analysis. Because in this sport, there's always more going on than meets the eye. Imagine this. You're one of the greatest drivers in Formula One history. 7 world championships, over 100 race wins, a name etched into the sport forever. And yet, some people still think you've got something to prove. That's exactly where Lewis Hamilton finds himself right now. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a story that's shaking up the F1 world. A bold prediction from veteran Italian journalist Leo Torini, who believes Hamilton is about to embarrass Ferrari's critics and silence those who have treated him as a scapegoat. And trust me, the psychology behind this moment might just make 2025 one of the most fascinating seasons in modern F1 history. Let's start with this. Leo Torini is no stranger to the F1 paddock. He's seen decades of championship battles, political drama, and driver rivalries. And when he speaks, people in Italy listen. Recently, Torini came out swinging, saying Hamilton has been treated as a scapegoat in recent years. In other words, when things went wrong at Mercedes, whether it was a flawed car design, bad strategy calls, or internal tensions, some critics made it sound like Hamilton was the problem. But here's the thing. Psychology tells us that when someone is labeled as the scapegoat, they often respond with a surge of motivation to prove everyone wrong. It becomes deeply personal. It's no longer just about winning, it's about redemption. Now, let's talk about the red elephant in the room, Ferrari. The Scuderia hasn't won a driver's championship since Kimi Räikkönen in 2007. That's nearly 2 decades of missed opportunities. Torini himself called it embarrassing for a team with such a legendary history. And here's where the tension builds. Ferrari's loyal fan base, the Tifosi, aren't just passionate, they're demanding. They expect glory, not excuses. So when Hamilton joins in 2025, he's not just stepping into a new car, he's stepping into an emotional pressure cooker. But that's exactly the kind of high-stakes environment where legends are made or broken. Torini believes Hamilton will thrive at Ferrari for one simple reason. He's coming in with no fear, no baggage, and everything to gain. Think about it. Lewis has already proven himself 1,000 times over. His move to Ferrari isn't about survival, it's about legacy. And psychologically, when someone plays to win rather than to avoid failure, they unlock a different level of performance. Torini even hinted that Charles Leclerc, Ferrari's current golden boy, will benefit from Hamilton's arrival. Why? Because competition sharpens focus. It forces you to raise your game or risk being left behind. And let's be honest, watching Leclerc and Hamilton go wheel to wheel in the same machinery is the stuff F1 fans dream about. But let's not forget, not everyone is convinced. Some Ferrari insiders worry that Hamilton's arrival could disrupt the team dynamic. Others think he's past his prime. Here's the psychological twist. Seasoned champions often thrive on doubt. In fact, research shows that elite athletes sometimes need critics to fuel their drive. The more you tell them they can't, the more determined they become to prove that they can. Hamilton knows the score. He's seen legends before him, like Michael Schumacher, take the risk of moving teams late in their career. And yes, sometimes it works. Sometimes it's magic. Ferrari is betting that Hamilton's experience, mindset, and racecraft can break their championship drought. Hamilton is betting that Ferrari can give him the car he needs to fight at the very top again. It's a high-risk, high-reward play. If it works, Hamilton could retire as an 8-time champion and the man who brought Ferrari back to glory. If it fails, critics will say they saw it coming all along. But here's the thing, winners don't play it safe. And Hamilton has never been the kind of driver to settle for the easy option. 2025 won't just be another F1 season. It's shaping up to be a collision of eras. On one side, you have Max Verstappen and Red Bull, the unstoppable force of recent years. On the other, a rejuvenated Mercedes looking to bounce back. And in the middle of it all, Ferrari, with Hamilton and Leclerc trying to rewrite history. The psychological stakes? Every driver on that grid knows that if Hamilton pulls this off, it will be one of the greatest career moves in Formula One history. So why does this hit so hard with fans? Because at its core, it's a redemption story. It's the classic narrative we're wired to love, the underdog who refuses to stay down. Hamilton might be a global superstar, but in this specific chapter of his career, he's fighting for something even bigger than trophies. He's fighting to prove that age, criticism, and politics can't dim the fire of a true champion. And as Torini points out, when you combine that fire with Ferrari's hunger, the results could be explosive. If you're following this story, here are the big questions for next season. Will Ferrari give Hamilton a championship-winning car? How will Leclerc respond to sharing a garage with one of the greatest of all time? And perhaps the most important, if Hamilton wins, what does that mean for the legacy of both Mercedes and Ferrari? Imagine this. A man who built one of the most dominant dynasties in Formula One history suddenly removed from the very team he transformed. That's the dramatic story of Christian Horner and Oracle Red Bull Racing in 2025. What exactly happened? Why was one of the sport's most successful team principals let go? And what lies ahead for Christian Horner? Could he return to F1 in a role even grander than before? Buckle up, because we're diving into the heart of Red Bull's seismic shakeup. For over 2 decades, Christian Horner steered Red Bull to extraordinary success. He joined the fledgling squad in 2005 and over 21 seasons guided them to 6 Constructors' Championships and 8 Drivers' titles, second only in F1 history to Ron Dennis's record. But everything unraveled in 2025. A dip in performance, key departures, including the legendary Adrian Newey, and internal tensions began to cloud the team's horizon. Red Bull, once untouchable, found itself mired in a crisis, 4th in the constructors' standings, while Max Verstappen trailed championship leader Oscar Piastri by a staggering margin. Helmut Marko, longtime advisor to Red Bull, confirmed the decision was rooted in performance. "If it doesn't work, the coach has to go," he said, comparing F1 to football. And so, on July 9, 2025, Red Bull officially released Horner from his operational duties, ending an era. Laurent Mekies, previously the head of Racing Bulls, Red Bull's sister team, was elevated to CEO and team principal of Red Bull Racing. Marko praised Mekies' focused style. "He's more concentrated on racing, a people person, and already adjusting simulator details," he explained, signaling a sharper, streamlined leadership approach. Internally, leaders like Zak Brown of McLaren welcomed the shift, suggesting the paddock appears healthier without Horner's involvement in controversies and politics. Industry voices also weighed in. Ex-Haas boss Guenther Steiner suggested Horner's departure is unlikely to change the team's on-track performance immediately, pointing to the long development cycles of modern F1 cars. So, what's next for Christian Horner? According to former F1 driver Robert Dornbos, one thing was always missing from his reign at Red Bull: team ownership, a position akin to what Mercedes' Toto Wolff holds. Dornbos believes Horner isn't done with F1. He's expected to return in a few years, possibly in a role where he holds shares in a team, maybe Alpine under the guidance of Flavio Briatore, or perhaps even something entirely new. He's still only 51, Dornbos said. 20 years of experience, that was the only thing missing. The idea of Horner returning as a part owner or even founding his own team could shake up the grid in ways we haven't seen since Red Bull first entered the sport. Horner's story is compelling because it blends dominance, downfall, and the promise of redemption. People are naturally drawn to stories where a figure rises, falls, and has the chance to rise again. It's the classic hero's journey, only in the high-octane world of Formula One. The drama also taps into our curiosity. We want to know what happens next. Will he disappear from the spotlight, or will he come back stronger? That open question keeps the conversation alive among fans and media alike. Christian Horner, a figure who defined an era, has departed, but his story may not be over. From legendary triumphs to mid-season upheaval, his legacy lives on in every win Red Bull claimed under his leadership. Will he return with even more power as a team owner? Only time will tell. One thing's certain, Christian Horner's chapter in F1 is far from closed. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into F1's latest dramas and untold stories. In the high-speed world of Formula One, change is the only constant. But what happens when a team decides to reinvent itself completely? Enter Racing Bulls, Red Bull's second team that's no longer just a shadow. Led by CEO Peter Bayer, Racing Bulls is not just racing on the track, they're racing into the future. Imagine a team that's not just about speed, but also about culture, identity, and connection. A team that speaks the language of Gen Z, blends fashion with performance, and is redefining what it means to be an F1 team. Sounds intriguing? Let's dive into how Racing Bulls is making this vision a reality. 2 years ago, Racing Bulls was known as AlphaTauri, a name that never quite resonated with fans. Under Peter Bayer's leadership, the team underwent a complete rebranding. Gone are the days of restrained liveries and unclear objectives. Now, Racing Bulls stands as a bold, independent entity with its own distinct identity. The departure of Franz Tost marked a turning point for the team. With Laurent Mekies stepping in as team principal and Peter Bayer as CEO, Racing Bulls embraced a new leadership structure. This shift allowed for fresh perspectives and strategies, propelling the team into a new era of innovation and success. Understanding the changing dynamics of F1's fan base, Racing Bulls has targeted Gen Z with a radical youth strategy. Leveraging Bayer's background in youth sports and his experience with the Youth Olympic Games, the team connects authentically with younger audiences. From music to fashion, Racing Bulls integrates cultural elements that resonate with today's youth, making F1 more accessible and relatable. Racing Bulls has transformed its digital presence, moving away from traditional corporate messaging. Their social media channels are vibrant and engaging, featuring behind-the-scenes content, driver personalities, and interactive posts. This approach not only entertains, but also builds a community around the team, fostering a deeper connection with fans. The team's driver lineup reflects its commitment to nurturing young talent. Liam Lawson, a rising star, has been promoted to Red Bull Racing, creating an opportunity for Isaac Hadjar to join Racing Bulls alongside Yuki Tsunoda. This dynamic duo brings energy and potential, embodying the team's forward-thinking philosophy. Racing Bulls goes beyond racing. They've created a brand that intertwines with music, fashion, and lifestyle. By aligning with partners that target Gen Z, Racing Bulls has positioned itself as a cultural icon, not just a racing team. Under Bayer's leadership, Racing Bulls has seen significant financial growth. The team's valuation soared to $1.25 billion, reflecting its successful rebranding and strategic direction. This financial stability allows Racing Bulls to invest in technology, talent, and fan engagement, ensuring long-term success. As F1 continues to evolve, Racing Bulls is at the forefront of this transformation. With a clear identity, a strong leadership team, and a deep connection with fans, Racing Bulls is not just participating in the sport, they're shaping its future. So, what do you think? Is Racing Bulls the future of Formula One? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the world of F1. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates on Racing Bulls and the exciting world of Formula One.